Act 3, Scene 3 brings us one step closer into the heart of the drama for Hamlet. It offers us our first sustained look at the character of Claudius, first sustained look of him alone, particularly. It's a relatively short scene, but it is packed with high drama moments and crucial understandings to the play as a whole, including a laser sharp focus on the connection between deeds and actions, which have preoccupied Hamlet, the man, and the play from the very beginning. It starts, of course, with the king somewhat upset still after the play within the play, and is storming out and being so concerned. And he is talking with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who, on one hand, are kind of comic relief, and they're just shamelessly butt smooching him. But he is conveying to them that, okay, you are going to take Hamlet to England, and things might happen there. And Rosencrantz himself gives this very broad and long, comparatively long speech. It's Rosencrantz's turn to shine as an actor, I guess. But it is just empty rhetoric. It is just empty declarations of devotion that ring hollow. They are completely, maybe they're sincere from the character to character, from the subject to the king, but they are conspicuously full of empty symbolism. The cease of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf doth draw what's near it with it. It is a massy wheel fixed on the summit of the highest mount, to whose huge spokes 10,000 lesser things are mortised and adjoined, and it just goes on. It's just an overwrought metaphor, and it's another sign of the emptiness of language and the inability to truly communicate that is endemic to this work. And then Polonius comes in and he announces his plan to hide behind the curtain and spy on Hamlet during Hamlet's meeting with his mother. And then the king is alone. And there he starts to think. And it's our first look at him alone, this very public man in a very private setting. And his first line is, "Oh, my offense is rank, it smells to heaven." And right there, think of that connection of the physicality of smell, the sensory notion of it, the worldly, mundane notion of it, and its infection to even the highest sphere of the ideal, to heaven. So the physical nature of humanity, in a sense, is now scaling the heights into the divine realm. Very Renaissance idea right there. He acknowledges the guilt. He basically admits itself. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it, a brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause, where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Interesting notion of the washing of blood, recalling, let's say, Macbeth. But the the dwelling on the guilt and the dwelling on the division between what he wants to do and what he knows he can do. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. He wants to do something, but he can't because he knows he is burdened with this guilt. This guilt, honestly, that is significantly identified with Cain and Abel, the eldest curse upon it, the brother's murder. So he's feeling a kind of the curse of Adam, essentially, the primal curse. How can we, as human beings, which we all share in that primal sin, in that sinful nature, how can we, as human beings, ever attain to the greatest heights of our ideal because we are so burdened with sin? My fault is past, but oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? He is feeling the guilt, and he's asking, well, can I pray it away? Can I be forgiven for the guilt while I am enjoying all the trappings of or all the spoils of that sin, my crown, my queen? He doesn't want to give that up. He is too attached to them. Think about the connection of attachment, as we learn in Lao Tse and the Bhagavad Gita. But that sense of he is physically, emotionally, humanly bonded to these things, to the crown, sure, but also the queen. He doesn't say that, well, I can give up Gertrude really easily, suggesting that is a personal and important connection to him beyond the fact that she was just, well, I had to marry her if I wanted the crown. The division is so palpable between what he wants and what he can do, and between the idea of the sincerity of the words and the words themselves. The meaning of the words is different from the words themselves. He can say the words, and he puts it in quotation marks here, forgive me my foul murder, which seems perfectly sincere on the surface. But he dwells on it and says, well, now, wait a minute. If it's not backed up by the actions of giving up what I achieved through that murder, what does it mean? That sincerity is hollow. In the corrupted currents of this world, offenses gilded hands may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled even to the teeth and forehead of our faults to give in evidence. What passes here will not pass there. The division again between heaven and earth. The idea that, okay, I can get by with a lie here, but there they'll see through it. And heaven can see the sincerity. Heaven can see the value of the words that I am just spewing out with no real substance behind them. And that knowledge is dogging him. That division between words and deeds is, of course, what has been hounding Hamlet throughout. Can he believe in the ghost's words? Are all of his words really meaning anything? When he is pretending to be mad, he does it through language and words. But does that mean he is mad? All of these questions have been churning around and churning throughout this play. And here, Polonius is showing it from a different perspective, the perspective of, well, frankly, the bad guy. We have been sort of objectifying Polonius throughout, and now we're getting another perspective on this. So it suggests that perhaps this doubt that is so dogging Hamlet is more universal than just him. everybody, it would seem, is vulnerable to these questions. Everybody is caught between the extremes of heaven and earth and the uncertainty of what we can believe of either. Bow stubborn knees, and hearts with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn bay, all may be well. He is commanding his physical body to do something. He is using words to lead his body. Words before the physical. He says bow. He is telling himself in words to pray, to at least take on the aspect of praying, to bend your knees, to kneel before God. That's not even praying, actually. That's just looking like you're praying. It doesn't say that he actually prays. So he uses language to command himself to ape the physicality of prayer, but it's not actually prayer. It is several steps removed from that. And that's the moment where Hamlet walks in, and Hamlet sees him kneeling alone, quiet, no witnesses. All Hamlet has to do is go in and kill him. And then it's all over. Then it's simple. Hamlet sees this opportunity and says, yes. But in the act of doing that, he also says, that would be scanned. Wait a minute. I just decided this, but now I'm going to think about it. Immediately that happens. In real time, we are in on his thought process. He has the thought, he has the second thought. And that second thought he will play out in real time again, like we are inside his head. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, to do this same villain send to heaven? Oh, this is higher in salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown as flush as May, and how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven. He concludes immediately that he's sitting there thinking about it, and he realizes that if I kill him in the act of prayer, he goes to heaven. Claudius goes right to heaven, forgiven of all of his sins. That's Catholic doctrine. The idea of that catches him, and he realizes, wait a minute. The ghost told me that he was sent into death without a chance to pray, without last rites or anything like that, and so he is wandering purgatory. He is wandering the earth in a kind of suspended animation or inanimation, I guess. But that fate is much worse than what Claudius would enjoy. Claudius praying, easy, right to heaven. Of course, the honesty of it is that Claudius is only appearing to pray, and we have already been told that by Claudius's admission, God can see through hollow prayers, but Hamlet at this moment is only seeing the act of prayer, the physical posture of prayer, without any sense of what's actually going on through Claudius's head, or even if it has anything behind it, of course. So everybody is reading and interpreting different things, including God, presumably. But of course, the question is always, well, does he see things? What is he aware of? That question is always up there. So Hamlet retreats. Hamlet leaves, says, all right, I can't do this. All of these, all of my thoughts about this have led me away from it. So once again, you see Hamlet outthinking action. He was going to act. He was very determined to act, but at the last minute, he caught himself, started having doubts, and outthought himself again. And it's postponed once again. More delayed gratification for the audience and for Hamlet and for humanity at large. Because can we ever really resolve to do something and actually pursue it without being besieged by our ability to think, to doubt, to reason our way out of multiple contingencies that ultimately lead us nowhere. And of course, this great short scene ends with, after Hamlet's exit, Claudius gets back up. He stops kneeling and stops pretending to pray, and he just notes the words out loud. My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. Which is all about authenticity, all about the division between words and deeds, and sincerity and truth. And what can we really tell, or what can anyone, including God, really tell about the value of those words, about the truth behind them, about the significance behind anything at all?